to Cooper, who wants to know if we're doubting or becoming an atheist, should we remain skeptical to supernatural ideas? So, hi, Cooper. How are you?
Hey, Cooper.
I'm doing good, Mr. Laughlin and Infidel. How are you two doing tonight?
Great. Good to have you on the show.
To be on the show, thank you. Yeah.
No. I guess to me, the answer to your question would be, how are you defining skeptical? And I would define it as somebody who looks at a claim in a very rational manner and looks for evidence of it. And if he sees enough evidence, he will accept that claim. So in that, using skeptical in that way, yes, I think we should remain skeptical to supernatural claims.
What Kelley said.
And Infidel, would you agree?
Absolutely. That the go where the evidence leads, wherever that takes me.
So, but why? I mean, why remain because I'm trying to get out of faith in a religion, and I would say I admire people like Christopher Hitchens who say we kind of need to maybe make the hard road of it all and say no, we shouldn't believe in God. We should ixnay the supernatural beliefs because they are irrational altogether.
Well, I would say that once again, I alluded to this early in the previous call. It gets down to what you're defining as God, because when you're talking about some generic classical God, once again, it's kind of hard because it's once again a finding it to define it. Now, when it comes down to specific gods, that's a different story. I think that the hard road is to be rather dismissive towards those gods, because complacency and allowing people to continue to believe something without those ideas being challenged is, I think, a little bit, I wouldn't say dishonest, but we're definitely would be taking the easy road to do that, which is why my personal experience is I'd rather be in your face, not yours personally.
Right. Now, Kelley, do you think that is there a range of skepticism that we should be in? Like, for example, like when it comes to rainbow, like pixie farting out universes, maybe that's something that we should less consider than, say, a anthropomorphic God creating universe person.
So let me see if I can understand the question. Are you asking me if there are some things that don't require skeptical thinking? Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, like your universe farting pixies, I don't really consider that, as often it has been said and used as an example, I don't think that that's a viable answer to the origin of the universe. So I would not expect to find any evidence for that whatsoever. So I'm not going to bother to look.
Right. So you would say that there is a level of skepticism that we should affirm and use when analyzing certain supernatural claims and beliefs.
I would say there's a level of gullibility that we should use before we apply our skeptical beliefs.
No,
I would have to say that I feel that, to me, skepticism is the way to start out, and it's like I'm not from the show me state, but that's pretty much where I exist in my day-to-day life. Until you show me it's true, I just have no reason to take it serious. That doesn't mean that I don't have a responsibility to try to find out what's true, but if the evidence just isn't there, there's really no reason for me to take it serious or seriously entertain the thought. It's just a navel gazing session.
Right. And that's where I'm at now in my questioning and doubting phase and deconstruction phase. I'm just like, well, all these God claims really don't seem to meet their burden of proof. But like, I'm thinking now I'm in the phase where it's like, should I remain skeptical to them? And then like, if I do, I'm afraid that will draw me back into all that level of thinking again. You know what I mean?
Are you using skeptical like open-minded? Like should you remain open-minded to the idea of a God, right? Is that the way you're using it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Cool. that puts me on a better footing. Thanks. I try to be open-minded about God, any God myself. If the evidence was there, I would totally probably accept it if it was good evidence. I just haven't seen any good evidence for the existence of any gods at all. So I kind of gave up looking. I'm not even sure that we can define what God is. I'm more of an atheist myself. I don't think that any conversation about God is going to get us anywhere, because nobody has an unambiguous definition of what God is. Even the person in the pew next to you at church probably doesn't have the same definition of God. So I'm not sure we can ever have a meaningful conversation as a result.
Right. No, I'm in the.
And I would have to agree that when it comes down to specific gods, as I've said, those are rather easy to dismiss if you just look at the evidence. And I don't think we should ever be afraid to look at the evidence. You mentioned, keeping an open mind and afraid that'll draw you back into something you believed previously. I think that's what religion does. It tells you to close your mind, decide on something, and stick with it regardless of what the truth is, regardless of what the evidence says, regardless of any other circumstances. I think it's safe to be open to it, because if it's true, then we should never be afraid of that. The truth isn't something to be afraid of if we can find it. And right now, I just think that in any religion I've ever ran across, when it came down to weighing the truth, to quote the Old Testament, it came up wanting. It isn't there.
I think it's good to remain open-minded, but to use skepticism to keep us from sliding into bad beliefs.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Well, guys, I think you answered my questions quite thoroughly, and I think it was a good and productive conversation. I thank you for taking my call.
I agree.
Well, thank you, Cooper. That was great. Thanks for calling. You were awesome.